What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and this morning we're going to be talking about the incredible amount of updates that no one's really discussing for Season 3. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and in the background enjoy some nasty lockdown quads gameplay over on Vandal. I'm still curious if any portion of Vandal is going to be vaulted at some point. It currently supports Battle Royale, Resurgence, and Lockdown, but what do you know? As confirmed in the Warzone section of our new blog post, we're actually going to be seeing Lockdown added to Rebirth. This is really good news considering at the Vandal capture event last year, I actually asked Carl from Bnox, the individual who you saw in the recent intel drop, I actually asked him if we were going to see Lockdown on any other map because I really enjoyed it during the capture event, and he did say they would look into bringing the mode to other maps later. I didn't expect it for Al-Mazrah, but I'm like, what about Ashika? And what do you know, we're actually going to be getting that on Rebirth Island with our third season, and I think it makes sense considering Bnox also developed the new version of Rebirth that we're about to play on April 3rd. But as a reminder, there's plenty of brand new content going up over on detonated.com for those that want additional article coverage on multiplayer Warzone and Zombies, plus there's plenty of tweets every single hour on Detonated's Twitter. Let's start off with talking about Warzone Bootcamp. There's actually quite a bit to break down here in this video. Refer to timestamps down below if you so please. There was actually a lot of information about Warzone in our recent Season 3 blog post. I think the most amount of information we've ever seen for a new Warzone update. So with Warzone Bootcamp, it'll be a new mode that supports 44 players, 20 real people, and 24 bots. Yes, bots are coming to Warzone, but just for this mode. They made it very clear in the blog post that bots won't be present in any other portion of Warzone other than this mode. It sounds like more of a training experience for newcomers in the Warzone scene. It'll support just quads, and there will be limited progression in this mode. So you'll get limited amounts of XP by playing this. And I want to say the Warzone welcome missions that I guess leaked out for certain people a couple of weeks ago, those sound like they fit perfectly with this Warzone bootcamp because the challenges in the Warzone welcome missions really cater to new people, right? They're very basic challenges like get one kill, open up a box, or play 10 games, and you get an operator skin for doing that. I covered all those missions in a previous video linked down below, but wouldn't be surprised if those are tied to this new bootcamp experience. Now during Season 3, there's going to be a mode called Rebirth Resurgence Loaded. It'll support 44 players, and you'll spawn in with loadouts as if you're playing Plunder, but it's not. It's just Resurgence. However, if you die, you'll redeploy with one of your other custom loadouts. So this is going to be, I think, a cool variation, just like Lockdown's going to be for Rebirth, where if you just don't want to play regular Resurgence, there'll be other type of LTMs to jump into on the same map. So I'm really happy to see different variations of these Plunder, Lockdown type modes where you can probably just quickly farm XP, rack up a bunch of kills. This is going to be pretty cool and very fast paced. We then have what I think has been very controversial even though the season hasn't even started yet, and that's Infil strikes. Now these aren't going to be releasing until the mid-season update, which is going to be around May 1st, and essentially what will happen is randomly throughout your match of Rebirth, and this could be in any game that you play but not every single one, there will be an Infil strike which destroys a particular point of interest such as the lighthouse, the prison, or the water tower. So it'll either knock down the lighthouse or the water tower in your game, or it could blow a hole through the prison roof, which will give you an ability to drive a vehicle up the ramp that is then there so you can get into the prison with, let's say, an LTV. So there's 3 POIs that can get destroyed by an Infil strike, and in all honesty, I don't really mind the water tower or the lighthouse being destroyed because that'll eliminate anybody camping and sniping up there, which could ruin your map flow, especially late game if the final circle is on the roof of the prison. So I'm not opposed to these, but I could see why they want to go ahead and launch Rebirth in a classic state before experimenting with something like this. So let's see how the community reacts to these Infil strikes once mid-season rolls around. I still think it'll be kind of rare to see these Infil strikes, but speaking of rarity, there will also be a variable time of day update. So beginning with Reloaded, there will be a chance that when you spawn into Rebirth, it'll be foggy, it could be normal, or it'll take place during sunset. So that's gonna be cool to kind of keep things fresh and change the pacing in some of your matches, but they also mentioned in the blog it'll be quite rare to see these variable times of day. So let's just see how rare they are, and let's see if the foggy version of Rebirth is as foggy as, let's say, Vandal, because that gets pretty frustrating in matches of Vandal, Resurgence, or BR. So let's see how that all works over on Rebirth. Now before we continue, I just wanted to remind you about MitchCactus.com, where you can get assistance grinding camos, nukes, or schematics in MW3. These guys do not use unlock tools or any bannable methods and will actually help you play the game. Mitch Cactus is also supported by Trustpilot with over 10,000 verified reviews. You can use code Dynamite for a limited time to save 5% off your order. Now before we continue with more Rebirth updates, if you're wondering what's going on with regular Battle Royale or the big map, Urzikstan, sadly the map isn't really getting any updates with Season 3, but I'm gonna guess that's because the player count's probably higher on Resurgence, Resurgence, and Resurgence is honestly the future of Warzone, like it or not. So when it comes to Urzikstan, there will in fact be a new climb and punishment update to the Gulag, and what that means is when you get to your Gulag, you have a chance of just climbing a ladder and leaving. There will be 2 ladders that deploy, and you and that enemy player could just choose to leave. You don't have to fight each other, so that'll be a cool way to just get back into your match of BR, but maybe a frustrating update for people out there that are a bit annoyed at how many ways there are to come back from death. Let's see how that gets received, but we also have bunkers opening up during mid-season, and it does tell us to take precaution when going back into those bunkers. I think there's about 13 total on the map. I wonder if zombies are going to be roaming around within them, because we already got to see that there's zombies in various test tubes, and the one that did open up towards the center of the map, so let's see what that's teasing. Is it something for Modern Warfare 3 zombies? Something for Black Ops 2024 zombies? Curious what that could be for, but back to Rebirth, we have Champion's Quest being added to the map. I'm not kidding. Our very first Champion's Quest on a Resurgence map is going to be launching with Season 3, and it'll be very similar to Champion's Quest that we saw for Al Mazrah or Urzikstan, where you have to either get consecutive wins in a row, and it'll be very similar to the Champion's Quest that we have on Urzikstan, where you can either get consecutive wins in a row to then activate the contract, or you can count up a total number of wins for that season to also get access to that contract. I believe Vondo also got the same quality of life feature with the ability to activate it without getting consecutive wins, but either way, Rebirth is going to have this feature, and it'll be very similar to the quest that we have on Big BR, where you have to go find and defend 3 elements, in which once you defend those elements and set off the nuke, you'll unlock a free operator skin, camo, calling card, charm, and even a sticker. I'll try to go for this and make a guide on it once it does release with our 3rd season. Let me know if you're going to go for it down below in the comments. Now, we do have a really cool public event releasing called Heavy Armor, which may activate during Infil. Again, there's a chance this can activate right as your match begins, and it'll last for the duration of the match, where it'll increase operator hit points from 150 to 200. You'll essentially have 4 armor plates and really just an extra plate on whatever plate carrier you have. That's going to be something that I think really changes up gameplay quite a bit. I really wonder how many of these updates they've announced for Season 3 are going to make it for the rest of the season, or even for the rest of the year. Will some of the updates I mentioned here in this video get removed after just a season of being live based on community feedback? That's always a possibility, but we then have what is called the Spy Drones contract, where it'll be a new contract that spawns only on Rebirth, and you have to destroy a swarm of drones that are marked on your map. The faster you destroy them, the better rewards you'll end up getting, such as armor plates, redeploy drones, advanced UAVs. This will be a cool new way to just keep Warzone fresh with newer contracts and different objectives other than killing people to get some high rarity loot. We then have the Squad Rage field upgrade also getting added in, which is essentially just enhanced battle rage. It'll vaporize any gas within the radius of effects surrounding you and will grant battle rage to you and any teammate that is standing within that radius. You'll have infinite attack sprint, increased health, and even enhanced regen during duration of the rage. You'll also be able to resist effects of all enemy tacticals. So that's going to be pretty overpowered and something that I'm sure will get some pretty cool clips for people while they're grinding. And we then have the utility box and various other features coming during the mid-season update in May. The utility box allows you to place a field upgrade box down on the ground, in which it'll give you both armor and ammo. Think of those boxes just combined into one hybrid. There's also a kill streak called Foresight coming into the game, which I believe was in Warzone 1 through a different way, but this streak allows you to see every future gas circle in your match. You can either find this in rare loot, or you can buy it over at a buy station. Speaking of stations, we're also getting the return of the weapon trade stations during mid-season, in which you can trade unwanted weapons for one of lesser quality and extra loot. Now, depending on how many attachments are on your weapon will determine the rarity of it. I think it's cool if you find a weapon with a decent amount of attachments, you trade it in for a durable or an advanced UAV or something else that's valuable more than the weapon itself. That's something cool that we saw during Vanguard's life cycle. But we also have Specialist Perk Package, which will be rarely found at Redacted or in specific Redacted. Not sure what that means in the blog post, but yeah, it'll grant you every perk in the game, all 29. Even when you grab your loadout, the Specialist Perk Package will remain king, and it won't get replaced by or swapped by your custom loadouts perk package. And it does sound like from the blog you'll keep it for the remainder of your match, which is absolutely insane. But here's something that nobody's really talking about at all, which I'm sure there'll be more detonated coverage of over on Twitter. There will be 10 biometric scanners located on Rebirth Island. They'll activate once per match. You can go up to any one of them to check your stats and then produce a key card based on your identity along with an XP reward. You can inspect the key card to see your name, clan tag, and your access level, and you can then unlock a special menu in any Rebirth buy station for the duration of that match. Your key card could have a rarity, which is either bronze, silver, gold, platinum, polyatomic, or Orion. Your key card rarity will be higher if you have a squad mate near you as you activate a biometric scanner. So we'll really have to experiment with exactly how this rarity does work, but there are going to be rewards at a buy station for using your key card, right? You can get a variety of different loot, as you guys can see on screen. We're talking random ammo, cash, plates, equipment, perk packages, plate carriers, field upgrades, kill streaks, and even free equipment selects and additional redacted content from any buy station. So this is a massive feature that we just don't know that much about yet, and I can't wait to experiment with it once we do have it in game. Now, another big part of the biometric scanner is it mentions in the blog that returning to a scanner on subsequent but non-consecutive visits may unlock additional assets, including a universal camo. They also mentioned communications deemed most secret, so I feel like that's something teasing Black Ops or Perseus. They mentioned this very mysterious intel that could also be found on Rebirth, which again, I'm sure is teasing something to do with the next trailer game, not something with the Modern Warfare narrative. Could be some connections between Konni and Perseus that we just don't know about yet. But coming towards the end, we also have smart displays being added to Rebirth, which essentially are going to display Konni propaganda, the largest heat zone where the most players are, the weather on Rebirth, operators who secured biometric key cards, the first demon in the lobby to hit 10, 15, 20 kills in that match, and even some redacted comms. I'm sure there'll be some storyline teasers or even Easter eggs tied to these smart displays, but I saw some comments out there that maybe they'll use these displays eventually to help market Black Ops 2024, or maybe even advertise in-game cosmetics and microtransactions. Wouldn't be surprised about that at all, but let's just see how they end up updating these smart displays over the course of Modern Warfare 3's life cycle. But last and certainly not least, they're also adding in a brand new squad assemble and squad play bonus. So if you drop with your team in a match of Rebirth, you're going to be getting XP bonuses, cash, special supply UAVs revealing legendary and personal loot boxes. There's going to be rewards for just landing with your squad. This will inevitably lead to more stacking, more teaming, probably more group camping, so be aware of that, right? If you see people playing that way, it might not be because they want to, but it's because there's rewards for doing so now, which I'm sure is going to really frustrate a lot of the hardcore players out there, or even the content creators going for gameplay. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on all these incredible updates that I did not expect for Warzone, specifically Rebirth Island here in Season 3? I really didn't expect the blog post to have this much information, but there's a lot in here that really hasn't been talked about all that much by the community, probably because there's so much info. It's a lot to break down, but I appreciate all your patience with how many videos I've posted over the last couple of days. There has been so much to dissect, and even more that we've broken down over in future detonated tweets and even some articles that are going to be linked down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.